Hello, everybody. It is me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. It is July 28th, 2019, 7 p.m. Eastern, and you have tuned into Sunday Night Live. Paul, congratulations. You are the first one to jump on. I'm so glad you're here. Awesome. It's good to see you popping on. I just want to let everybody know, Shay, yay! I want to let everybody know that we have a new mastermind group starting in August. It will start on August 10th, and it is going to be called Leading Others. Mastermind group number 1, which was in July, was about leading ourselves. And we learned some powerful principles about how we can lead ourselves better. Now we're going to learn some powerful principles that will allow us to lead and influence others. So if you're a leader who wants to expand your influence, whether you're the leader in your home or a leader at church, a leader at work, wherever you want to expand your influence, the Leading Others Mastermind is going to be a great place for you to learn some good principles, learn to apply those principles, and have some great conversation with people who believe the same way you believe, but they think different thoughts. And that's what makes a mastermind so incredibly powerful. Carol, I am glad you're here. Thank you for jumping on. Cassandra Mancor, awesome. Good to see you. I am loving this. We're already off to a really terrific start. Just want to remind you, if you've missed any Sunday Night Lives, you can check them out on my YouTube channel, which is still nameless because I need to get to that 100 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would ask you to go do a search for Shannon LaBruyere. You'll see my smiling face, and hit subscribe. And when I get to 100 subscribers, I'll be able to name it something cool. And I'm thinking I'm going to name it Thrive and Change with Shannon LaBruyere because I'm consistent like that. I would love it if you did. All right, so we're going to talk tonight about saying yes. Now, just a refresher, week before last, we spent quite a bit of time talking about how to say no and how we so many times feel guilty because we say no. We beat ourselves up because we say no, and we end up saying yes to other people even when we know we shouldn't because it's going to take too much time. It's not something that's a priority for us. So we talked about how there's no need to feel guilty for saying no, because when we say no, it opens up the opportunity for somebody else to say yes. When I refuse to compromise my priorities or to make somebody else's agenda mine, when I say no to that, what I'm actually doing is making a space, making an opening for somebody else who that is on their priority list. That is something that's on their agenda. That is something that's important to them. And I'm not taking up a spot and resenting it. I am saying no and making a space so that the person who really needs to be doing that, who really wants to, has the opportunity to do it. So that was our lesson about saying no. Tonight we're going to talk about saying yes. And Barbara, I'm glad you jumped on. It's good to see you. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about saying yes. So many years ago, I want to say, gosh, probably 12, 13 years ago, my family and I started having what we called cousin camp at our cottage up in West Branch on a little lake in West Branch. It's just idyllic, it's scenic, not too crazy, and it was perfect to have bunches and bunches of cousins come on in and just spend 4 days hanging out, connecting, getting to know each other. So it was like an extended family reunion at our cottage in West Branch. So we had wonderful, wonderful times when we went up there. But my first year there, I was the matriarch of the family, if you will. And Rich, I'm Jan. I'm glad you jumped on. I was the matriarch, if you will, of my family. I was the oldest of 6 kids. And so either all of my siblings or all of my in-laws were there with all of their kids. So we had about 20 some people at this cottage. And me being the oldest and used to being bossy, I was feeling like I had to just control every little thing. So anytime one of those kids asked to do something, I was like trying to nail it all down. And nope, it's not time to do that yet. Nope, we can't do that yet. Nope, it's not time. We have a schedule. Nope. And I just heard myself saying, even more than I usually said it, no, we can't. No, we're not going to. Oh, Shay says she's in St. Helen. That is just north of West Branch. I love St. Helen. So enjoy it up there. I hope you're on the lake. It's beautiful, beautiful. So I'm hearing myself I should be surrounded by joy, right? I've got all of my nieces and nephews. My children are there. My siblings are there. This should be a wonderful time. And yet I was saying no, and even I was depressing myself. And after about a day of doing this, I realized I'm going to have to change something because I am not happy and nobody else is happy either. And so I made an intentional, conscious choice, and it changed everything, not just for those 4 days, but it changed everything for the rest of my year. And as the cousins came back and grew and got older and older and older, I continued with this intentional decision, and it really did make everything about that experience better, and I learned a ton from it. This is the decision I made. I decided to say yes every time I possibly could. I mean, if there was even a slim chance that was going to work or I could make it happen, I told myself I would say yes. And so my first test came at about 7 a.m. and it's about 65 degrees outside, and there is a really cold drizzle just constantly pouring out of the sky. If you've been camping, you know that drizzle, right? And fortunately, we were inside of a cottage, so we weren't in a tent getting soaked. But a couple of the cousins, super excited, like 7 and 8 year olds are. They don't care how cold it is. They don't care that it's raining. Aunt Shannon, can we go out and swim? And all of my siblings looked at me and they're like, we ain't going. And I remembered what I'd told myself. And I said, you know what? Yes, you can. I will come out and watch you. So I put on my sweatshirts, I got my rain boots, I got my umbrella, and they all got their bathing suits. And at 7 a.m., they are swimming in a cold lake. It didn't kill them. Those of you who are worried, they didn't get pneumonia. They were fine. And I sat and let the rain fall, and I allowed myself to feel the joy of saying yes. They were so happy. I was so happy. I was so content sitting there and realizing it doesn't matter how my hair looks. It doesn't matter if I'm going to be tired because I'm on vacation. I'll get a nap. None of that matters. What matters is we are having a blast. My sister Megan tells the story of how they were at the ocean and her 2 kids were all cleaned up and ready for bed, and they were there with a bunch of family members. And just as it was getting ready to be bedtime, some of the other cousins went running off into the ocean, started playing in the sand, started to get messy. And her 2 little ones were sitting there, Mama, can we go? Can we go? Can we go? And she was saying, no, you already had your bath. You're already in your pajamas. And her sister-in-law, God bless sister-in-laws, her sister-in-law looked at her and said, when are they gonna? If they don't do it tonight, when are they gonna? How many times do you have to bathe them? You're gonna bathe them again tomorrow. And I'm so proud of my sister. She said, you know what? You're right. Let them go. Saying yes. So we can get sort of practiced at saying yes to our nieces and nephews. Sometimes even we get practice saying yes to our kids. But I'll tell you what we don't do. We don't spend a lot of time saying yes to ourselves. Hi, Pam. I'm glad you jumped on. Yeah, let's talk about saying yes to ourselves. I'm not talking about saying yes to that 3rd piece of cheesecake instead of breakfast or lunch or dinner. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about when our heart knocks and says, yoo-hoo, Shannon, hello, you are going the opposite direction of happy. Come on back. And we say, no, I don't have time. No, I don't have time. Can't do it. Don't have time. This is a habit that we develop over the course of the seasons of our life, I think. I'm thinking about when I was a working mom, and I'm still technically a working mom, but all of my children are adults and out of the house. So when I was a mom who had kids at home, I had to say no a lot. And some of you have been in that boat, moms and dads. When you've got responsibilities at home, you can't always just do anything that anybody wants to do. If somebody wants to go out to a movie after work, you can't go. You know, you've got to get home. And so I would say, no, I can't go. No, I can't go away for the weekend for that girls' retreat because, you know what, I've got to be with my kids. I don't see them all week. True. That was a great choice, people. I'm not regretting that choice for a minute. The thing was, I got in a habit. What habits have you developed saying no to yourself that you're still saying no when actually, if you thought about it, there's really no good reason why you couldn't say yes? I had a friend who asked me, hey, do you want to go out and we're going to go to this concert, watch this orchestra, and then maybe we'll get some coffee or a dessert after? And I heard myself saying, oh, you know what? No, I can't. Because for 20 years, I had always said, no, I can't. And the light came on. The light came on. Wait a minute. There's no reason why I couldn't do that. I could go. If it wasn't because I wanted to be with my family and make them dinner, it was because I knew that I would have to get up early the next day and I'd be exhausted and it'd take me 2 weeks to catch up. Can I hear an amen? I know you guys have been there. I had not adjusted my habitual knee-jerk no to accommodate my new awareness, my new life situation. Think about how many times, if you came up in a dysfunctional family, if you were in a dysfunctional marriage, if you were part of a dysfunctional workplace, how many times did you just automatically say no to opportunities, to doing something different, to stepping out and taking a risk because you knew that there would be bad consequences if you did? You knew sticking your neck out, taking a risk, trying something different, throwing an idea out there, asking for some additional assistance. All of those dysfunctional situations in our lives program us to say, no, I'm not going to think outside of the box. Nope, because the last time I thought outside of the box, they hounded me at the meeting and they acted like I was an idiot, and I don't need that anymore. I'm not doing it. No. And we just get used to saying no, not thinking outside of the box, not trying that new thing. Nope, I am not going to risk being vulnerable with my relatives. I am not going to go and I am not going to open myself up to that kind of pain. And we fail to realize that we've grown so much since the last time we saw them that we wouldn't have the same kind of dynamic that we used to have because we're different. But we are in a habit. We say no, we say no, we say no. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Yes. Say yes. Say yes with intention, not just because people ask you, but don't say no without thinking either. We can never afford to let our habits drive us to doing things without thought and intention, because that is a sure way for us to get plugged into other people's agendas, whether it's at work or with the people that we're related to. We can't afford to not be intentional with every no that we give, but also every yes. Sometimes I think we don't want to say yes to ourselves because we feel like that suffering is like part of life and we're supposed to be suffering. We get this misguided, and it is absolutely misguided. We get this misguided idea that if we're suffering automatically something good is happening. And that, my friends, is not true. Suffering does not equal progress. It doesn't equal purpose. Sometimes progress requires some suffering. But just because you're suffering doesn't mean that you're being productive. We do not get rewarded in life for suffering. We don't get rewarded for suffering, because suffering for suffering's sake is a waste. It's a waste. If we're not suffering for a reason that moves us toward our goal, we need to say yes to something that's going to ease our pain. Now, somebody needs to hear this tonight. I know you do. Roseanne, maybe it's you. Thank you for being here from the Barbados. I love that. So, I want you to think about how important is it to you to take care of yourself. You hear this all the time. If you read magazines, it's in there. Men's Health, women's magazines. You're seeing it all the time. But on your priority list, how high of a priority is it for you to take care of yourself? And what makes you think that it's okay to habitually say no when your body or your spirit says, I need a break? What prevents you from saying, yes, I need a break? Yes, I need some help. What situation are you in that could benefit from you reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, could you help me out with this? I could use a break. I could use a little help. I could use a couple of hours without the kids tugging at my apron strings. I could use a couple of hours, a little bit of respite from being a caregiver. That's legitimate. That's the kind of yes that moves you toward peace, contentment, joy, effectiveness. It's the kind of decision, that kind of yes fuels us so that we have more impact, that we are able to help people more than if we are, like they say, burning the candle at both ends. Years ago, I worked with a woman named Sheila. I've mentioned her before, and she watches this broadcast. So Sheila, mwah, I love you. I remember so much of your wisdom. She said something to me so practical, and you might laugh or you might say, yep. In fact, I'd love it if you raised your hand or gave me a thumbs up if this has happened to you. I said something on the order of, oh, you know what? I have got to go. I have needed to use the bathroom since 9 o'clock this morning, and it was 2 in the afternoon, and I just haven't gotten there, so I need to go to the bathroom right now. I can't put it off anymore. And she said, Shannon, the very minute your body tells you you need to use the bathroom, you deserve to go to the bathroom. Nothing else is important. That's the most important thing. Your body is telling you it needs to go. You need to listen. That is so true. That is so true. How many times have you been out working in the yard? Or maybe you're working on a big project at work and you're, thank you for the thumbs up, yes. How many times have you been working at a project at work and you start first thing in the morning and you just keep powering away, and you blow through a break and you don't use the bathroom and you don't drink any water and you don't eat lunch, and it's 6 or 6:30 in the evening and you are still working, and then you almost collapse. You almost collapse because you have not listened to your body. You didn't say yes when your body said, I want a drink. Yes, I need to go to the bathroom. Yes, I'd like lunch. Yes. Punishing ourselves like that doesn't do any good, and it doesn't make you a hero in my book. If people think that's what it takes, that you have to be miserable, then they need to get very accustomed to you saying yes to what you need and no to their unreasonable expectations. Right? Not as easy as it sounds, maybe, not as easy as I make it sound, but that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. You are allowed to say yes to what your physical body needs. And I'm loving those thumbs up. Yes. All right. This is something else you're allowed to say yes to. You're allowed to say yes to your dreams. Yeah, you're actually allowed to look into your future and say, I want to make a difference. I want to contribute. I want to create. I want to have impact. You are not just allowed to do that, you were designed to do that. But you're the one who has to say yes to that. It doesn't matter how many people I could get on here every week and say, you can do it, you can do it. And I do say that just about every week, you can do it. But until you learn to say yes to what you know you want, you know what your purpose has told you, you know what inspires you and excites you, until you say yes to that, it doesn't matter who else says yes. And I want you to know this too. When you truly say yes to that, it doesn't matter who says no to it either. Because the people who love you will work with you so that you can be everything you know you want to be. It's a yes. God created us to create. We are made in the image of the grand overall designer. The grand overall designer of everything we see created us to be just like him. And we were designed to create, to thrive, to prosper, to grow, to change. But all of that requires us to say, yes, I'm willing to do it. Yes, I'm allowed to dream. Yes, I'm going to let myself hope. Yes, I'm going to take action. That's the other yes that we control. Yes, I'm going to take action. How many times have you thought of something that sounded great? Man, I would just love to own my own business. I would love to start a daycare. It just would be awesome. I would love to just go out there and really try and make principal musician in the community orchestra. I would love to do that. You know what? If I could, I would, but I can't. How many times have we thought that? I can't do that. If I could, I would, but I can't. This is the thing. You can. You can. You just have to say yes to taking the actions that get you to where you want to be. It's simple. It's not easy all the time, but it's simple. We have to say yes to the dream. We have to say yes to the actions that it takes. Maybe you'll try it out and decide, yeah, that didn't work so well. I'm not saying you sell everything you own and go jump on a boat and sail over to Paris and study French cuisine. Although if you do that, hey, say yes, right? Your yes is going to look different than everybody else's yes. But this is what I know. I know that if you don't say yes to taking some action, none of it happens. We say no to ourselves over and over and over. A lot of it's because our mom said no, our dad said no, our teachers said no, our boss said no. Everybody seems to say no. We just get used to no. We need to start intentionally choosing yes. Michael Powell, I'm so glad you're here. We can intentionally choose to say yes to what we need, the needs of our body, the needs of our spirit, the needs of our souls. We can say yes, it's legitimate. I recognize that. I need to rest. I need a nap. I need some quiet time. I need a break. I'm tired. Those are all yeses that are so valuable. And we can get in a habit of saying no to ourselves when it's not even necessary. The next thing we need to do is say yes to the dream. that every one of us has, that dream that says, I want to create, I want to be more, I want to grow, I want to have impact, I want to thrive, I want to prosper. Yes, I want those things. Those are good things, and they are what we were designed and created to be and do. Say yes to being the person who can do that. Give yourself permission. It makes it so much easier when someone else says no, when you realize, yeah, but I said yes. I get to. I shared last week about one of the managers when I worked in the government job that I had for so many years. And one of the managers was very jaded. He was so negative, so negative. And he said no to me at every turn. Anything I thought was cool or wanted to try something new, he'd say no, 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 no. And finally he just says, Shannon, you are, just too sunny all the time. You just think all this stuff is going to work great and you just aren't realistic. And no, 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 no. But I'll tell you what. I said, yes, I know that what I'm doing could have an impact. I know that what I'm talking about can do some good. And I was able to connect with others who felt the same way. Brian, I'm so glad you jumped on just a few minutes before we're wrapping up. We're talking about saying yes to our physical needs and filling them. They're legitimate. Saying yes, not working through that lunch. Can I start over? I could start over, but I would never do it as well the second time through, Brian. And so just for you, I'm going to insist that you have to watch the replay. How's that? But I am so glad you're here. So we need to say yes to ourselves, no matter how habitually we've said no in the past, no matter how sleep deprived we were when we were young parents and we had to take care of babies and we really couldn't say no. We had to get up. That little guy was crying and he was hungry and he wasn't going to stop. We get in a habit of saying no, no, no. Are you still in that place? Take a look around. You might be saying no and there's nothing stopping you but you. All those chains that had you bound up, that made you say, no, I can't, no, I won't, no, it wouldn't work, no, I can't. Take a look around. Those chains dissolved a long time ago. You just didn't notice. It's time to start saying yes. Say yes to taking care of your body. Saying yes to that dream that you've had that's been simmering back there. That's no accident. That's not some weird thing that came out of nowhere. That dream that you've been harboring and kind of shoving aside and saying no to for the last 10 years, it's going to keep coming back. It's going to keep knocking on your door. Say yes. Open the door. And then the last thing is, when you've gotten to know that dream a little bit, say yes to taking an action toward it and see what happens. All right, so that is your helpful primer on how to say yes. And I hope it helps you. I want you to know, I do believe that you, because you've tuned into this, because you're listening, because you're watching, you've got a yes that you need to embrace and you need to pursue. Tonight's the night. Say yes. Do the next thing that you need to do to get closer to that dream, that purpose, that significance that you've been craving. Take a look around. There's not nearly as many chains on you as you thought. That habitual no is not necessary anymore. Start taking a look around and decide, I'm going to say yes whenever I can. I regret none of the time. I am so blessed and so grateful for the hours, and it is hours, that I spent swinging on a swing, saying yes to my nieces and nephews year after year after year as they modeled their pencil dives off the end of the dock. And I would score them on a scale of 1 to 10 who was straightest. And then they would do their propeller dives, and I would score them 1 to 10 who spun the fastest. It was wonderful stuff. And for the longest time I said no because it sounded boring or I didn't have time. When I started saying yes, it opened up a whole new world of relationship, of fun, of joy. Saying yes feels really good. So try doing it. And Shay, I love it. Yes. Just say yes. Say yes. Try it and see. I would love to know what you are going to say yes to this week, because just hearing good stuff, just hearing motivational, wonderful, principle-driven content like I'm delivering here, just hearing that is not enough. What you need to do is say yes to taking action. I would love to know, what action are you going to say yes to? And I have a suggestion. If you want to say yes to up-leveling as a leader, if you are a leader who's not quite sure how to build a team or how to influence other people on your team, if you want to get better and better at influencing and building and growing, not just yourself, but the people around you, I have a mastermind coming up. It's $25, 3 weeks, Saturday mornings, leading others. The first one was awesome, and the second one will be even better. I would love for you to join it. If you don't know where to start, say yes to a mastermind. You will love it. And I'm limiting it to 20 people. So now's the time. If you want to jump in, put it in the comments. I would love to have you. Let's see, we got another comment here from Carol. Ooh. Carol says she's thanking the Lord for the teaching of when to say no and when to say yes. We have to have some downtime to recover. Amen. And then we have to have the strength to enjoy life in a better way. Yes. Amen to that. My whole mission, my whole purpose is to help people thrive in life, in the changes we design, the changes that come at us from out of nowhere. Learn to ride the highs and ride the lows. I'm going to close with this. I know I'm going a little bit over the half hour that I usually stick to, but for those of you who have to go, thank you for being here. For those of you who want to stick around, I read this really wonderful story. There was a group of men and they were taking a tour in the mountains. And off in the distance they saw a waterfall, and there was a man, he looked almost like an elderly man, and he was at the top of the waterfall, and all of a sudden they saw him fall in and just go tumbling down these huge falls, and they were panicked. So they go running across the rocks, they go down to the river where the guy was landing, and they were thinking they were going to have to do a rescue mission. And when they got there, this old man bobbed up out of the water, and he climbed up on a rock, and he started to dry himself off with a towel that he had put down there. And one of the guys said, "How did you do that? We thought you were dead. We thought you were a goner. We thought for sure that we were going to be dragging your body out of the river. How did you do that?" And the old man said, "I don't know, it's easy. When the water goes up, I go up. And when the water goes down, I go down." That can be our life. Go up and down. It doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to suffer needlessly. We need to be able to say, yes, I need strength to go up, and then we need to be able to rest and say, I need to ride this out. That's discernment. Takes a little practice, but if you start now, you're going to be amazed at the impact. So, I leave you with that. I love you all. Mwah. Thank you for being here. Share this. If you think it was helpful for you, it's going to help somebody else. Share it with somebody that you know needs to start saying yes to their dreams, their hopes, their bodies. All right. Take care. Bye.